Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about 12 factors that determine your success. Factor number 2 is self-awareness. Who am I? Why am I here? You say, Brian, well, everybody kind of knows who they are. My name's Brian Holmes, and I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm married, and you start giving your bio, basically. I'm not talking about your bio or your press sheet. I'm talking about from deep within, what is your identity? Who are you really? Why are you here? As we begin talking about this, I want to share with you that most of us, if not maybe every human being, deals with a little bit of what I call imposed identity. Meaning throughout our lifetime, maybe as a small child, maybe in our teenage years, maybe even in our early adult life, something tragic happens, something traumatic happens. A parent or an authority figure or someone who is meaningful in our life speaks words towards us or into us, and those words stick and they shape how we see ourselves, and we take on an identity or a valuation of our worth, our value, that was not at all what God intended. It's not at all how He sees us, but it's superimposed on top of our true identity. And yet when we look in the mirror, we don't see what's underneath our real identity. We see what's been superimposed on top of that. And so as we deal with this self-awareness piece, it requires us to go deep on the inside. It requires us to look at some of the things that have happened in our lifetime. And listen, none of us like pain. In fact, when bad things happen, we tend to compartmentalize and stuff pain away. And this creates what I call unreconciled or unresolved issues of the heart. And so the soul becomes broken, the soul becomes wounded. And again, wounds, unforgiveness, bitterness, anger, tragedies, things that happen along the way shape our view of how we see ourselves. And I will tell you this, there's an interesting scripture. Jesus one time said that the image you form is the image that you pay. And what he was talking about there was, he was talking to his disciples about, hey, whose face is on that coin you have in your pocket? And they said, well, it's Caesar's face. And he said, well, the image that you form is the image you pay. And here's what I want to tell you about image and about identity is that whatever image you have of yourself, whatever self-awareness there is, whatever picture you have of you, is what you're going to constantly be paying into emotionally and spiritually and psychologically and maybe even financially. Because if you have the wrong image, you're constantly investing your energies, your time into things that are not even you. And so self-awareness is a factor that must be addressed and dealt with. And so we look at things like, how am I wired? How did God uniquely wire me? What are my unique abilities, my skills, my talents, my competencies? What's my personality style? We all have a dominant personality style, and guess what? Yes, maybe somehow it was formed environmentally over time, but the truth is, I believe we were formed in our mother's womb, and in that place, before we ever came into the world, so to speak, we were hardwired for specific purpose, for specific accomplishment. And so we have to discover what's our personality style, what are our strengths, what are our aptitudes, what are our interests, what are the things that from the time we were little bitty, all right, when we saw this or involved ourselves in a particular activity, we became alive, okay? You look behind me here, you see a picture of a Citation CJ3. I have flown that airplane, okay? And when I talk about airplanes and aviation and the principles of flight, I get excited because from the time I was a teeny weeny child, these things just lit me up. I would see an airplane flying over and I would long to be in the left seat, in control of that airplane, flying at 35, 40,000 feet, doing 550 miles per hour. And so just what is it that drives you, your values, your passions? This is called self-awareness, and it is so critical that you and I explore the realms of who it is God's made us to be. Now here's the piece. Most people have never done this. I'm telling you, we go through an academic system. We go to elementary school, we go to middle school, we then go to what's called high school here in America, and then we go into university, and we do all of that, and we're told who we are. We're told what our boundaries are. We're given parameters within which we must operate. And I will tell you that that system is not only broken, but it's incredibly restrictive and very limiting, because you have potential beyond the scope of what anybody else has said to you. So I want to challenge you in this particular session. Do the hard work. Get a coach in your life. Find a mentor. Maybe it's a counselor for you. Maybe it's a spiritual leader. But find somebody who can guide you through personal healing, guide you through personal discovery, and help you to really get in touch with, who am I? Why am I here? Factor number 2, it's really important. Self-awareness.